Hey everyone, we're the relationship coaches. My name's Lindsay.
I'm Lisa.
And today we are talking to you about five marriage savers. So the first one, something we hear from our clients all the time, is that they don't feel appreciated by their partner. So what's the first thing? The first thing we're going to suggest that you do as a marriage saver, show appreciation to your partner.
If you think about it, we often dole out our appreciation to all the other people in our lives. We appreciate our colleagues, we appreciate our kids, we appreciate our kids' friends' parents for dropping them off at something, right? We are always, it's like we have the best manners with everyone but our partner.
Yeah.
And what we see happening is that, you start to take for granted all of the things that your partner is doing for you. And they become expectations that no longer get appreciated.
So true.
And so what ends up happening is that, couples start to feel taken for granted and underappreciated. So appreciate your partner, give them thanks, let them know that you're grateful for the little and big things that they do in your life and in your relationship.
Yeah. So Elise, before we leave number one, how can people do this though, so that they really express that appreciation, so the other person really feels appreciated?
I think how we know if it's been received is based on the person receiving it. So if I felt like you really appreciated me in that moment, then I would probably get that little boost of energy, that little connection, that feeling of ooh, my partner appreciated me. If it was just kind of like an offhanded thanks for dinner that feels robotic, I'm probably not going to feel appreciated. So I think it's really eye contact, say it like you mean it. Have your body language, your words, and your tone of voice all show and indicate that appreciation for your partner in the same way that you would with a friend after meeting for coffee, right? Yes. So thank you so much for dinner. It was delicious. Or I really appreciate that you took the time to plan, execute, and feed me and our family. You're the best.
Yeah, I probably don't say it enough, and it means a lot to me. So number two, marriage saver. These, by the way, are all things that are simple to do and simple not to do. The whole point of this is that they are 5 easy things that can future-proof your marriage, and really, we call them marriage savers. They're things to sustain the happiness, right? But if you don't do them, then they're just words.
Yeah. And it's free. Did we mention that? That so often when we think about investing in our relationship, we think about we need a big trip, we need a weekend away, I need to buy them gifts. The things that we're suggesting here today, the 5 marriage savers, you can do them any day of the week and it doesn't cost you a thing.
Exactly. Number 2, second thing, be present. So a couple things around this one. One is be present, be physically there, be emotionally there, be really in tune to what's happening. And the other is be present in the sense of don't be in the future, don't be in the past. Be right here, right now.
The number one thing we hear from our couples is we're just trying to get back to the way we were.
Oh, yeah.
We're just trying to go to the past, back when we were so in love and so sexually attracted to each other. If we could just get that back.
Yeah, yeah.
And we always say to our clients, it's not about going backwards. And the more you spend time in the past, the less you are in the present.
Yeah, it's so true. So let's just get people out of that line of thinking altogether by throwing out a kind of a truth bomb here that you may or may not like. You're never going to get back to where you were. It's not happening. No.
It's only where you're at now and looking forward, looking ahead.
So often we find that our couples are in the past in a way that's they're begrudging things that happened in the past. So they're thinking about the ways their partner has wronged them in the past, and they're not able to move on.
Resentments.
So that's one way we see people really sticking in the past. The other way is, like you mentioned, Lise, trying to get back to a place they were, right? And then in the future, we see people stepping into the future when they have this expectation that their partner's going to let them down like they did before. So, this is the history, so it's going to repeat itself. And they don't give their partner an opportunity to change. They just assume that it's going to be the same.
Plan for the worst.
Yes, that's also a piece of living in the future. And then the other way people live in the future is really by just always planning the next big thing, like you talked about, instead of just being where they are in the moment.
And you have a quote that is on your wall when you first come in the house. And it essentially is about, pay attention to the small moments, because when you look back on them, those are actually the big moments in life. And so that's what this is all about, like recognizing that you're lucky enough to be in a relationship, to have a partner. There's lots of single people that would trade places with you. So how can you, enjoy your time with them, live in the moment, be present with them.
Yeah.
Put your phone away. Giving someone like 5 to 10 minutes of your undivided attention is the best gift that you could ever give them.
The best gift. Yeah. That is probably the best tip about being present that we could possibly give you. The other thing is quality time, right? So quality over quantity, and quality time often takes planning. So yes, setting a date night, putting it on the calendar, and then really being there.
Okay. The third marriage saver that we're sharing with you today is to surprise your partner. So often we hear that the monotony and the mundane of the day-to-day living together after being together for years has gotten boring. You get into your roles and people just, execute them, but there's no surprise left in your life and in your relationship. There's no edginess, there's no excitement.
Yeah.
It's just kind of same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
And so if you want to shift that energy, then you got to bring it. You got to surprise your partner. So like bring them their favorite drink or their favorite, croissant or something like that at a time where they're not expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah. We need, as humans, we need novelty. We need different. We don't thrive for long periods of time with same old, same old.
Yeah, variety is key.
Yeah, so you mentioned like roles, like we fall into those roles. Absolutely, whether that's roles around like childcare in your home, like I'm the person who watches the kids, you're the person who goes to work. Whether that's like roles around division of labor, like...
I cook, you clean.
Yeah, or roles even in the bedroom, Lise. Like you always initiate, so not going to.
Yeah, imagine being the partner who doesn't normally initiating.
Yeah.
Imagine how much you would surprise your partner if they're normally the one doing it and now all of a sudden you're initiating. Like that's hot, that's sexy, and that surprise is going to kind of blow their mind.
Exactly. And that's what we mean by surprise your partner. It can be as simple as that.
Same thing with stuff around the house, right? So say again you have those roles that you always, play. How about surprise your partner by being the one to make dinner that night and text them and say, "Hey, I've got dinner covered tonight." Right?
Yeah.
Something like that your partner's going to be like, "Oh, that is a surprise," and that's great. And it just like mixes up the energy in the relationship to create some variety.
Okay, so number 4 marriage saver, again, simple one, is laugh together. This is so important.
The coolest couples, like the ones that I admire, are ones that have like crazy inside jokes and are able to, they almost like have their own language. You can tell when you're in a room with them, they make eye contact, they have, this like stuff that they're laughing at that they just have that special connection. And that is a hard thing to maintain in a relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure is. Yeah, but the reason why it brings them together is because it's just for them. It's just between the two of them, right?
And so often we save that sense of humor and that fun side for our friends, our colleagues.
Yes.
We're like laughing and having so much fun when we're out, and then we come home and we're like, to-do list.
Yeah, yeah. We are so often our like funnest selves, like out and about with other people. Why do we do that, Lise? Why do we then come home and be the to-do list responsible, boring person with our partner?
Yeah, I don't know why we do it, but it ends today. Today, you're going to find a reason to laugh with your partner, a reason to bring the humor back between the two of you. And, even if it's at the expense of others, that's okay. Maybe you have like a No, like you didn't even hear my example.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Maybe you have like a funny aunt or something like that you're like dreading having over, and then so you laugh about like the embarrassing things she's going to say or how inappropriate she'll be.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Okay. Zero judgment.
You assumed the worst.
I kind of did. Yeah. The point is, don't take life so seriously, and don't take, your relationship so seriously that you can't find the fun and be silly with one another.
And the fifth and final marriage saver that we're sharing with you today is, you guessed it, my favorite, physical touch.
Yeah, like touch your partner.
Touch them.
As simple as that.
Kiss them.
Kiss them.
Hug them.
Yeah.
Massage them.
Hold their hand. Even just give them one of these as you walk by them. Like, it's as simple as that. So often, if you think of like the beginning of a relationship, Lise, you're like intertwined with the person, like on top of each other at one end of the couch. And then maybe after like 2 months, you're like this.
Legs touching.
Yeah. And then maybe after like 6 months, you're just like kind of beside each other, but holding hands. And then maybe after a year, you're like on other ends of the couch.
Yeah.
And then maybe after 2 years, you're just like on different couches altogether, right?
Half on your phone, half watching the show.
Yes. So what we're asking you to do is get back to that feeling of wanting to touch your partner as if you haven't touched them before.
And we know what you're thinking. One of the biggest blockers that we hear from our clients about not wanting to touch their partner is that they got to a place in their relationship where the only time they touched each other was initiating sex. Yeah. And then so for whichever partner isn't feeling it or isn't in the mood, or maybe their desire is kind of at an all-time low, they're nervous that if they reach out and touch their partner, or if their partner reaches out and touches them, that it has to lead to sex.
Yes, I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
And so then that leads to them being scared to even touch, right?
Yeah, they're scared to give like a solid kiss to their partner because they're worried that then they're leading them on. So, of course, with anything, you may have to have a conversation with your partner about this and just say like, hey, I want to bring our physical relationship back, and maybe sex is off the table for the first little while. That's okay.
It is okay.
But you need to give yourself and your partner permission to feel the feels and to start touching each other in a safe way where you both feel comfortable doing it.
I love that marriage saver.
Reflecting on today is, when it comes to physical touch, is that in the beginning of a relationship, you have that spontaneous desire. You see the person and you want them. You are texting with them all day in anticipation of seeing them. There's like a flirt that's happening at all times. And without that flirt and that texting and that conversation happening, I think we all expect to keep our desire at that same level. And without, the contact in between, it just doesn't happen.
Yep.
And a lot of our desire goes from spontaneous to responsive, which ultimately means that, you have to have, a series of things that are going to lead up into your mind kicking in that your body is a sexual thing. And so, sometimes that does require the, first base and second base in terms of physical touch. And once you kind of get to second base, maybe you want to take it further, maybe you don't, but it's going to like trigger something and make you remember that it feels good to touch each other and to be physical with one another.
I love that, Lise. You got a little bit sciencey and technical there. So let's just make sure I heard you right. So what you're saying to people is, even if maybe you aren't feeling super sexual, maybe give yourself permission to go to first base and see how it feels.
Yeah, because sometimes that might ignite something more, and sometimes it doesn't. There's no pressure, but you won't know unless you go to first base.
All right. So let's recap the 5 marriage savers. Small things that you can do often, okay? Appreciate your partner. Be present with your partner. Surprise your partner. Do something unexpected. Laugh with your partner. And touch your partner.
Good luck. You've got this.